It was like not even direct. And listening to yourself and not doing what other people are expecting of you. And then you act from just acting in that moment. Hi, my name is Leanna Martins and welcome to Change Makers. I am so excited to introduce Neil Hayes of Sleep in Heavenly Peace Canada. You are the president. And I was fortunate enough to be able to volunteer and do some work and build some beds with you guys. And I wanted to have you on the show because I think you guys do some pretty amazing work. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Sleep in Heavenly Peace and the work that you guys do.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me here, and it was good meeting you two back at our bed building too.
Yeah.
And, what we do in basic forms is we make beds for kids that sleep on the floor.
And who are these kids, right? So there's kids in Edmonton right now that are sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, there's unfortunately thousands of them. We just find that there's a lot of single parents that just do not have the funds to give the kids a proper bed. Very quickly, I went to visit their place, and I'll never forget, Leanna, I hope I don't ever forget the feeling of an empty house, no food in the house, no clothes, nothing. And I just made a pledge at that point. I said, God, I don't know how, but I'm going to get kids like this, Kevin, a bed. I'm going to get beds. I'm going to make beds. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But it was one of those things that I sort of parked in my brain and said, it's a promise I made a long time ago.
And you were in your 20s when you did this?
Yeah.
Because you were not just volunteering, you said you were running the Boys and Girls Club.
I was working for Boys and Girls Club, yeah. So with the rusty old Corolla,
yeah,
getting paid, very low,
yeah,
and barely making our own payments on.
So that's really interesting that you have this at 20 years old, right? In your 20s, yeah. You have this really impactful experience. Going to a house, you're seeing somebody probably for the first time. You actually see, instead of a kid in your office, right? Yeah. You actually go and see what's the living conditions of these kids, and they're humans, and this is a whole family living like this, and you can't imagine that.
Yeah.
So you have this profound impact.
It was almost like a 2x4 hit me in the head. I just like,
that's it.
Still,
but
thinking back, it's very emotional.
That's so powerful. This is why I think this is so powerful. When we have these experiences in our lives. In 2019, you're registered as a charity. You've got these amazing people that have bought into your heart's mission, right, and your purpose. And now there's a great demand, as you're saying. So tell me, who are you helping, and how can other people get involved if they want to support you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. So. We started off, another quick story, we started off making sure there was demand for this because again, it's basic marketing, but am I going to spend my life doing something that's not necessary? So I went to our local women's shelter and I talked to the executive director and I said, well, I've got this thing, we're thinking about making beds, we're looking at being registered as a charity. Do you have a need for this? And she started crying.
You told me that. That's powerful.
And I'm like, I've been waiting for years for this.
Just like you have had those 3 times, right? Over the course of 20 years, that it's like a bed. These people are impoverished and they're desperate need for a bed and dignity and respect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I said, well, how many beds do you need? She said, I need 200 a year at least, maybe more. And I said, we're gonna need 200 beds.
That was your commitment.
Made one bed.
That takes a lot of courage, right? So you're going from, you just acted in that moment and made one bed, and a woman, you know the need, you see the need, you're moved by the need, and you're just like, I'll do this.
Yeah.
You had no idea how. No idea how,
sure how,
right?
No.
If the resources, but you just committed to do it, and you did it.
And we did. We're open to everybody, so we give beds to everybody that comes.
If they qualify, and with poverty, so with their income level, if they can be referred by the Mennonite Society.
Mennonite Center for Newcomers, or women's shelters.
Organizations.
Yeah, so we have a lot of referrals, and we're now getting a lot of Ukrainian people. But getting back to your question to answer in a short form, I was taught early, the more you give, the more you get, and you can't outgive. If you've got extra, you should give it away. And it has worked for me, even in this. If I hadn't started this charity, I'd probably be kind of a depressed, grumpy, not great golfer, I don't know. I'm not sure where I'd be. I'd probably be a little bit fatter because you do get a lot of, you're always hauling lumber somewhere.
So this will be the last question I ask just to wrap it up, because I'm very curious about this myself in terms of contribution in general and people taking action like you. You took action.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the experiences that you had as a kid. You had a dad that modeled this for you.
Yeah.
And then he brought you in, he ushered you into the experience of service and giving and the impact that that has. And that really directed you. You've continued to walk down this path of greater and greater and greater service.
Yeah.
And now living your mission, which is, actually share your mission. What's your mission?
Yeah, our mission is no kid sleeps on the floor in our town. And that's, because we say our town is Canada. I really want to be, at some point, hopefully I make 85 and sit back and say, we've got every province, every territory. We've got thousands of kids off the floor.
Okay, we've got it on camera, people. We've got it on camera. We're gonna recheck this. Every 5 years, we'll see where Sleep in Heavenly Peace is. Yeah. We're all behind you 100%. I think you're a wonderful human being. If you wanna help and you find, if this story has moved you in any way, shape, or form, please go to shpbeds.ca. Yeah. And is there an Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, once you get on there, you'll see there's also connections that you can get on with. But but no, please help us. We always need more people. Like it's a people agency. Like
you're people driven by volunteers.
We like money, but we'd rather have you.
So just like I did, come out and do a bed build anytime.
Yeah, get dusty.
Neil, thank you so much for coming out. It really has been a pleasure. I'd love to be able to get to know you. And if we had more time, the truth is I very easily could talk to you for another hour. So
well, thanks so much. Very enjoyable.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for helping, and I think it'll help share the message. And we need people. That's what we want. People to help us with our mission.